What is up, everyone? We're live. We are back. Friday fireworks, baseball show, MLB show. We got some cut sweats going on. The Masters. Scotty just made a crazy birdie on 12, trying to stay on top of the leaderboard here. It's been a fun first couple of days. The Masters with some big names up top. Stats, how you doing, man?
Doing well, yeah. Loving the Masters, but I think this is kind of the way golf has gone. Like 15, 20 years ago, like you'd see the random name pop up there. Man, I think these guys are just too good. Like there's so many of the top guys now.
Yeah.
It's real hard for anyone outside of these top like 20, 25 guys to win one of these major tournaments.
Yeah, and the way it's shaping up, we're going to have an awesome leaderboard going into the weekend. I can't wait to watch. I got my Masters hat on here.
Yeah. Weather's going to be ideal this weekend.
Is
so,
it?
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, we'll talk about some weather on the baseball slate tonight. We got 12 games to get into. I know you've got a trip coming up, so let's dive right in. We've had the O's game was postponed, so we're not going to talk about that game, but we got 12 others. We're going to go in the order on DK here, starting in Tampa, Atlanta at the Rays here, Steinbrenner Field. We talked about that a lot on these show stats. Good weather down there tonight for bats. We got Taj Bradley and Bryce Elder. Let's talk about the arms first. What do you think about the arms in this game here?
Yeah, I mean, so I've got Taj Bradley as one of my top boom guys on my pitching boom model that I haven't really released yet, but he's my third best pitcher on the slate for tonight, behind two other guys that you probably could guess that would get the highest ownership. But yeah, I mean, just looking at it, one of the better K per inning numbers out there projected, pretty decent on his walks and hits per inning. So I like Taj Bradley. Typically Atlanta is it seems like they were always our Friday night pick. Now, the contradiction here is what's he going to be owned here, Taj? I didn't look at ownership yet.
Saber has got him. Let me pull it up. Saber's got Bradley right around 20%.
All right. So here's the we always like to talk about the leverage plays. Atlanta would be a good leverage option for if you want to get off of Bradley. The Atlanta offense shows up really well on the Boom Report for stacks. So I do like Atlanta here against Bradley actually more, even though I have Bradley pretty high up on here. I think this is a really nice pivot. You've got a lot of games, 12 games on the slate, but I think this is one of the pitchers who's going to get a little bit of ownership that I think we can target against with the Atlanta bats.
Yeah, Bradley's going to be a wide range of outcomes pitcher. Like you said, the strikeouts are there, but when things go bad, he does have a walk rate near 10% and does give up power. So one of the rare spots where I agree with you. I'm going to be on both sides of this here. Going to lean into the strikeout upside of Bradley, but also like we've seen in this park stats, we just saw the Angels go nuts in this park. So
yes,
the Braves could definitely get it done. I am with you. I'm going to be playing both sides of this one.
I got to give a shout out to the boom sheet though, man.
Yep.
I put Joe Adell on the cover, and then he goes and hits 2 home runs in an inning. So that was the Angels rated high yesterday. So if you guys are not part of the boom, if you're not getting the boom sheet at RPS, it's crushing it for people. You're going to find stacks that you would not normally be on in these big GPPs to win it for you.
Yesterday, I was pretty annoyed because the top lineup that Saber kept spitting out was a 3-man Angels with Ward, Trout, and Adele. And I just hit that X button and kept
Well, a lot of people did,
as
you saw. So, yeah, the boom. I'm loving the boom sheet, man. It's making my life easier. It's like, I'm just going on there, and it's like, and I'm finding some really good stacks and the one-off plays too, which is key.
Trevor wants to know who the cover boy is today.
We did Vientos.
Vientos, yeah.
I mean, that's a big game today.
Preview for later in the show. We're going to be liking Mets today. Any specific bats here? I see that all of the Braves are still pretty cheap. I really like the Rays here. We haven't talked about the Rays bats yet.
No, there's so many good bats on the Atlanta side. I think, and they're cheap, like you said.
Yeah.
Kelenic, De La Cruz, I'm going to talk about the boom sheet all the time, but the top bats, like top 6 bats in this game, are all on the Atlanta side. The only elite guy showing up is Tampa, which is funny because I don't like Elder at all in this game.
Yeah.
So it's an odd one where I think the upside is on the Atlanta bats, also on Taj Bradley. So it's an interesting game.
Yeah, I like bats on both sides. I like the race here too, specifically the lefties. We've seen it go wrong for Elder routinely. He's kind of proven that he's not a major league caliber arm, and we do have cheap bats throughout the Tampa order too that I think are going to work with the high end pitching. So I'm with you. I'm on both sides of this game for bats. I'll be playing some Bradley and no Elder for me. Any other thoughts here?
No, I think that's it.
All right, let's go to the one game that's got some weather risk. Giants are in New York City. Giants, Yanks, Robbie Ray and Marcus Stroman. Have you looked into the weather in detail yet? What are your thoughts on how this game plays out?
Yeah, I did look. I looked at the weather about an hour ago, and I was looking at the radar right before we came on here. This is the same. This is basically the same storm that postponed that Baltimore game. I don't know if you looked at it. It's weird. Typically, the weather moves like from west to east. Certainly in the northeast part of the country, but this thing is moving counterclockwise, almost like a hurricane is. So that's why it's kind of lingering over Baltimore, but all the bands are hitting New York. So New York's not getting out. I think it's wet the entire night. So I don't know if they even start this game. To me, if this game starts postponed, starts delayed, I don't think I don't even think they get it in. I have a feeling this game is going to get rained out, unless it's just, you can't always tell on the radar, unless the rain is just not that hard and they're just going to play through like a light amount of rain. But it's going to be wet the entire night.
I agree with you. I think this game gets banged. If it doesn't, let's talk real quick about if it doesn't. I don't have any interest in either pitcher here, obviously because of the rain. I would have some interest in the Yankees bats against Robbie Ray. He has not looked good so far. His pitch modeling stuff looks terrible. His slider, I put in the playbook, is the lowest rated pitch in all of baseball so far through a couple starts.
Is it?
And we know that the Yankees do have power. So if this game doesn't start in a delay and it looks like they're just going to play through, rain showers, I think the Yankees bats are at least interesting. Don't really want to play the Giants, even though it's Stroman. Like, the Yankees bullpen scares me on a huge slate. So for me, no arms here. Possibly get to some Yankees bats, low-owned Yankees bats against a guy who gives up a ton of power. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if we were confident, I don't think anything's going to change by the time we get off this show. So I think your probably best bet here is just fade this game, and we'll probably get news before the first pitch that this, if this game's going to go or not. So I just don't think it's going to go. If it does, I'm going to be light on both sides of the game. Wind's kind of blowing in. It is Yankee Stadium, but crappy, cold, wet, just day. Not a great. It's not a great hitting day. That's for sure.
They should just play this game tomorrow. So if anything, some Yankee bats, but if you're doing that, keep a close eye on the weather there. All right, let's go to Miami. The Nats are in Miami. NL East matchup here. Mitchell Parker, and we get the season debut of Edward Cabrera. Upside arm, but pretty erratic. Let's start with the arms here. Do you have any interest in either Parker or Cabrera here?
Oh, okay. Let me see. I mean, not a ton. I've got a prop actually on Parker, so you can check that out in the bets. So I've got one of my K props there today. So don't love Parker. Cabrera I have as the worst pitcher on the sheet. I mean, Parker does, because there's so many pitchers. He's right in the middle. He's kind of
expensive here.
Who's that?
Parker's kind of expensive. He's
7,900. Yeah, not as cheap as you'd like. His K numbers. He's not that big of a K pitcher here. One of the worst K per inning pitchers on the slate. But should not give up much to Miami. I mean, that's the real thing here. Is you're looking obviously for maybe a win and get some maybe chew up some innings, but you're not going to get a ton of strikeouts from Parker. So neither one of these pitchers I'm particularly high on. I think the upside here for Parker is kind of capped because we're not going to get a ton of strikeouts. Cabrera, I wouldn't even look at.
I'm with you. I don't have either of these pitchers in my pool on such a big slate. Do you have any interest in the bats? It's not a great stadium for runs. I think the total's 8-ish here. Cheap bats on the Miami side as usual, but obviously
Yeah,
worst lineups in baseball.
it's
And,
terrible.
and then the Nats are just kind of pricey, like the ones that you want. Abrams is 5.3, Wood is 5K. Any interest in bats in this game at all?
Yeah, I don't love it. I mean, Abrams is always going to be a play if you somehow have a fairly cheap couple of stacks in there and you want to use him as a
Yeah.
one-off. I think he's always a good one-off play, but actually one of the better one-off. But when you're looking for one-off guys, I mean, you're looking for home run, stolen base guys, and Abrams is certainly that. So,
Yeah, both of those.
so outside of that, yeah, I don't love it. Like you said, you've got Wood at 5K and a couple of these guys on Washington just super expensive. The Miami bats are crazy cheap, but
So
they
cheap,
still have to do something.
but
And
they
I don't,
suck.
I just don't have a lot of high expectations here for the bats. So they're going to rate decently on the boom sheet just because of the price.
Mhm.
Um, if you want to take a shot with them, I mean, we're not facing Cy Young on either side here, but if you want to kind of mix them in with a more expensive stack and play it that way, I'm going to have pieces, but neither one of these teams are going to be high on my stacks.
Yeah, interesting enough, Sabres got the cleanup hitter for the Marlins, Eric Wagaman, as at 14% owned. So he's first and third eligible at 2,300. He
Yeah,
probably
well, you bring him up. I mean, he
well.
is. Yeah, he outside of Abrams, he's the one other elite boom play on the slate here today. So 2,300 gives you a little bit of power, a little bit of stolen bases. So
First and
not a
third
terrible
eligibility
play.
too. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I think he's probably the best play in the game overall. He's probably going to
agreed.
fit in as a decent one-off with an expensive stack, and we'll get to some expensive stacks that are in good spots today. Any last thoughts on this game here?
No.
All right, let's go to Chicago, where I'm at. Still pretty cold here. Stats. We're not getting that Tampa weather. It's in the 40s here. Boston's in town. We got Sean Newcomb and Davis Martin pitching in pretty cold weather here. It's going to cool off as the sun goes down too. But Sean Newcomb is facing the White Sox at 6,300. What are your thoughts on him here as a cheap arm on the slate?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got to be in the mix, right? I
Yep.
mean, just the simple fact that you're playing in against the White Sox should be good pitching weather, right?
It is, yeah. Yeah, it's cold here.
I've got my sheet here somewhere with the weather, but yeah, so the weather should help out the pitchers. It is blowing in as well, 9-10 miles an hour blowing in, so that should help. So yeah, I think Newcomb at the 6,300 is certainly in play. I'm going to stay away from Davis Martin though. I have no interest at 7,200. Just not enough strikeouts there for me, and with the lower chance of winning that game. So I think Newcomb's certainly in play for the slate though.
Yeah, there aren't that many guys under 8K that I have much interest in at pitcher. I've got 3 guys on my sheet, and Newcomb is one of them. Just matchup play, league average arm against bad team as a favorite. Not much more to it there. Stats.
No, it's sometimes it's simple.
Yep. What about the bats here, specifically on the Boston side, facing Davis Martin? Sabres got them with a team total with the Sims at 4.9. We do know that the top of this order can do some damage. Jaron Duran, Devers, Bregman, and Casas hitting cleanup today. What do you think about the Boston bats here?
Yeah, I mean, not the best hitting environment like we said earlier with the weather, but yeah, I mean, the White Sox bats not even touching. I do like these. I like the Boston bats quite a bit.
Me too.
And all these guys here pretty much. I mean, Devers, Doran, Story, Bregman.
They have a free catcher today too.
Rafaela,
Yeah.
free K in there as well. So we've got, you've got a couple of, you've got some options here that are a little cheaper. Casas is starting right at 3,500.
Yeah,
right?
he's hitting cleanup.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think you can make some really nice Boston stacks tonight. So despite the weather's the only thing that's going to make it iffy for me. Just it's going to be a little cold. Ball won't travel. I guess a lot cold. Better than me. But so we won't maybe get the ball to travel as well. So I'd maybe come down. Where are we at in Saber with the ownership on the Boston players?
I'm seeing between 6 and 12% for the Boston.
Probably about right.
Here.
I think that's where you want to be with your 150 builds. I don't want to get too crazy, like I said, just because of the weather here. But the Boston bats are really primed, and it's pretty much. There's not a Boston bat I would not play in this game.
Campbell, the rookies look great too.
Yeah.
He's eligible at second and outfield. Bregman second and third kind of helps with stacks, and they do have the free backup catcher starting today too. So we like Boston. We're going to be playing some of Newcomb and no White Sox for either of us here. Let's go to Houston. Angels in town. Ronel Blanco and Jack Kochanowicz, I think it is. A guy who was a turbo ground ball guy last year, but has really switched up his pitch mix, at least to begin this season. He threw, I've got it here, 72% sinkers last year stats, down to 45% through 2 starts. Not sure if that's a matchup thing, but a guy who really gets a ton of ground balls against right-handed hitters, and we've talked a lot about the Astros this year. Certain right-handed pitchers are going to do well against them just because they run out 8 righties. Any interest in the cheap Angels arm? And then what do you think about Blanco here, who had a super lucky year last year, and that is coming back to earth quickly in 2025?
I was going to say, I thought you loved Blanco in this one.
No,
so.
No, I don't.
I know. I saw the Discord conversation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
The Discord earlier where you were kind of ripping him. I think JT said that's it. He's in the winner here tonight. But I mean, I'm not high on either one of these pitchers for the game. They get they get a decent rating on the boom sheet. Both of them do. But I just think there's so many better options to choose from tonight. I mean, if you wanted to get down, I actually would prefer Kochanowicz at the 6,800 over Blanco myself with that price. And I like I do like the Angels stacks here again. So I think we've got, with Trout, Adele, Soler, Ward, Ohapi, and
Kyron Paris has been awesome. The second baseman.
3,300. You could definitely mix these guys in. I mean, the only guys to me, it's like Tim Anderson that I just never play, and a couple of these other guys, but I think you've got there's quite a few of the bats in this lineup. Top of the lineup, pretty good. I think the Angels look pitching wise and with the stacks. I like the Angels side of this game more than I like Houston.
Me too. I'm just gonna keep playing right-handed pitchers against this Astros team. They're just so right-handed heavy. So many ground balls. I think at that price tag, I think he's a guy to mix in. Not going to pop a huge score, but I think he can get there on this slate. And I agree with you. I like the Angels bats more than the Houston bats here. I think the Houston bats come in at least decently owned on the slate too. They've got a decent team total. I do prefer the Angels side with you. Any Houston bats here for you? I kept Jordan in the pool, but just not a team that's hit at all this season, especially against right-handed pitching.
Yeah, I'm looking at the ownership. I mean, it's like Boston ownership, right? And I would certainly I want to get those Boston bats way before I want to get the Houston bats for me tonight. So obviously there's going to be some guys out. Jordan I always like and Walker, but I'm not real high on anyone outside of those guys in this game. I mean, you can, if you're going to stack it, Pena, Diaz, Altuve, they're in the mix. But the two guys I really like are Jordan and Walker. Outside of that, I really like the other side. I like the Angels bats a little bit better.
Yeah, those are the only two Houston guys that I have in the pool, and I will be playing some Angel stacks with you. They've been good to us the last year and a half, so we'll keep riding the Angels here. Any last words on this game before we move on?
That's about it.
All right, let's go to Minnesota, Detroit, and the Twins. Detroit's in town. We got an interesting pitching matchup with two cheap arms here. Stats that I think are interesting, starting with Reese Olson for the Tigers, and David Festa is back in the major leagues. A high strikeout guy, but he's going to be pretty volatile. He had a 4.9 ERA last year, but really good underlying stats for Festa. What do you think about the pitchers here? Both very cheap.
Yeah, cheap options, but I'm not particularly high on either one of these pitchers. Let me bring up the let me look quick at the betting markets on these guys both, because I don't have them on my sheet. Don't have a ton of strike. I mean, Olsen's not bad, 5.5 strikeouts, but juiced to the under. And for Festa, it is 4.5. Excuse me, juiced to the over. So nothing crazy. The total's not particularly high. I mean, this is one of the games I don't have a ton of interest in this game all the way around. I don't really love the bats, don't love the pitching. I've got some other pitchers here that we didn't even get to that I really that I like a lot more. Just too big of a slate. I think these guys are going to kind of miss. If they hit my 150 builds, it's going to, both of them would be low single digits.
Yeah, I have interest in Olsen here. I think he's a good arm. Gets a good matchup in pretty good pitching conditions in Minnesota. Just an arm that I usually keep in the pool in decent matchups. So I'll have some Olsen just because he's 7K, and we're kind of looking for guys in that range. So not rushing to the window to play him, but I'm going to keep him in the pool here. Any bats for you here? I don't really like anything on the hitting side in this game.
Don't love it either. Carpenter on the Detroit side, Buxton on the Minnesota side. But yeah, it's not. Not going crazy here. I would play at best mini stacks. I don't like full 5-man stacks with either one of these teams.
Yeah, I'm keeping in. Actually, I think the same guys that you had. I've got Buxton and then 2, 3, 4, 5 from Detroit. I kept in the pool here. Glaber's back in there, so that's a couple free strikeouts for Festa if you want to keep Festa in there. All right, let's keep them moving. We got a bunch of games to talk about. Let's go to St. Louis. Phillies in town. We got Aaron Nola facing off against Andre Palante here. Aaron Nola struggled out of the gate here. He's got a 6 ERA. He's at 9K. I was hoping to see him cheaper in the spot stats. I don't really love the price tag on Nola. What do you think about the pitchers here?
Yeah, I mean, I've got Nola 5th best option on the slate. I agree with you. The price tag is a little concerning. Look at his K per innings. It should be better. It's kind of middle of the pack on this entire slate today. So
yeah.
Let me look at what the ownership, what we're projecting here on Sabre. I don't know if you have it up in front of you, but
yeah, I've got it right here. Nola, like 10%.
Should be
pretty low.
Yeah, just 10%. I'd almost at 10%. I'd almost want to take a little bit more, maybe, just because potentially not a lot. I don't love. Like I said, he's my 5th best option. But that's a little low for a guy who can give us, does have the ability to give us a, some upside.
Good.
I don't love it either way. I'm talking myself, like, as I'm talking myself lower and lower. So like maybe, all right, because I'm not getting too excited about it. But yeah, that's the on the Philly side. But St. Louis, who else? Palante, no interest at all. 7,400. I've got no interest. Not a ton of strikeouts. Just not going to make it. He's not going to make the cut here for me. I'll have obviously have Nola, but not Palante.
Yeah, Nola's just not a guy that I play too often. It just always seems like there are better guys in his range on most slates, and the fact that he hasn't come out of the gate strong isn't great either. If you don't like the Cardinals' arm, do you have any interest in the Philly bats here? They were one of my last cuts for stacks today.
Yeah, let me see what I got on. So the Philly bats, actually, yeah, I've got a lot. When I ran it earlier, I did get quite a bit of the Philly bats. So yeah, I'm just looking at it now. I mean, Schwarber, Turner, and Harper all rate out really well for me. And then the rest of their lineup's not terrible either, with Castellanos, Stott, and Kepler. Those. So when you look at both sides of this game, my top 6 players in this game bats are all on the Philly side. So very little interest in St. Louis. If you're looking, I'm always looking for that kind of leverage pivot play. I don't think St. Louis is it. I still think like that. That Tampa game was the game where you're going to get some good leverage. I don't think this is it. So I think you're playing Philly. I think you kind of leave the St. Louis bats alone, and St. Louis pitcher. I don't think you should have any St. Louis players in this game.
I agree with you there. My only concern really with the Philly bats is that Palante is like a turbo ground ball guy, career 67% ground ball rate for him through 2 starts this year. He's got a 78% ground ball rate. So that's a bit scary, but obviously the power bats of Philly can get it done. But, that's just the type of pitcher that I hate stacking against overall. Something to monitor for him moving forward. Any last words on this game here?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, my numbers have the home run probabilities are pretty suppressed for that reason. But the nice thing with Philly, you do have some, you got guys in that lineup who run.
Yep.
So that's the nice part with the St. Louis bats. So you get some guys on base. They get some, you get a Turner, Stott, those guys who can really, maybe steal some bases. And then, like I always say on these shows, I mean, you're lucky to get half a game out of these starting pitchers. So things change when they get to the bullpen.
True. Good point. I'm going to keep the big Philly bats in my pool then. All right. We haven't liked a lot of bats so far, but let's go to a game where I do like the bats. Let's go to Arizona. We've got the Brewers coming out of Coors, going to Arizona. Another good spot for bats. We got Eduardo Rodriguez. And old friend Jose Quintana is back. Jose Quintana getting called up from AAA for the Brewers to make the start out in Arizona, where there's good weather. I believe the roof is closed, but still on a slate where there's a bunch of cold weather, an indoor game doesn't sound that bad for bats. What do you like here, Stats?
Yeah, there's no Quintana for me in this one. I just think the price on Rodriguez, I think, is a little too high, 8,100. I don't particularly like that one either. But I do like the bats. I assume you like the Arizona bats in this game.
Yep.
Yeah, the Arizona bats really kind of they rate out well. Did we get that lineup?
We do not have it yet.
Yeah, we don't have that lineup yet. But yeah, I mean, Grichuk, Gurriel, Carroll's always going to be in play. I like a lot of these guys. Again, they're not the highest on my home run projections, but like cumulatively, all of these guys are looking at like 10 to 15% on the Arizona side. A lot. Well, they're home run hitters. 10 to 15% probabilities of hitting home runs here tonight. So I do like the Arizona bats a bit, and I got to look at where are we at on ownership here. I always like to look at that.
I'm seeing between 3 and 6%.
Oh yeah. I'm looking at it now. Love that. You want it. Yeah. So I like it even more. Yeah. The Arizona bat, that's always a good place to hit in. Roof closed. Give me the Arizona bat. Even Milwaukee though. I don't think you want to get off the Milwaukee bats either. I like the Milwaukee bats in this game as well. So Hoskins, don't like it as much. Churio, Contreras. I like a bunch of these guys. They're a little bit more. Actually, I think they've got more expensive options on the Milwaukee side. On the whole,
coming out of Coors,
yeah. So we're going to be paying up on that side. That's why I'm going to have more Arizona stacks. What do we got ownership wise? Should be pretty low on
Milwaukee's all around 3%. Besides Contreras, a catcher, they got 7.
I think you want to get over both of these lineups today. You're playing 150 lineups. I think you want to get over the market on this entire game offensively.
Yes, I agree. I haven't liked a ton of bats outside of the Tampa game and the Angels and Boston so far, but I really like both sides of this game. Talked about it on the playbook. If you're a member, go check that out. Got the playbook up for this monster slate.
Tim Tawa, though. What do you think about Tim Tawa?
I think he's cheap. I think he's cheap, and he's right-handed, so he's going to start.
Yeah, 2,300. I mean, that fits in nicely.
Yeah, I think he is probably a key to getting in the Corbin Carrolls of the world. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be afraid to play left-on-left guys against Quintana. I don't think he's super long for this game, anyways. Stats, and he doesn't have crazy splits, anyways. So I'm not shying away from playing, Corbin Carroll or Naylor or any of the lefties here either. I like the entire lineup, so I'm with you. I'm on both sides of this game for bats. Any last words on this one here?
No, I think we got it.
All right, let's go to San Diego, where, man, I wish I was in that weather right now out in San Diego. The Rockies are in town after just getting pasted by the Brewers and Coors. This team is so bad. Stats. We got Pivetta against German Marquez is back. Pivetta was really popular in that last start at Wrigley and just couldn't find the zone. I think the weather was really getting to him. He kept, going to his hands and stuff. It was in the mid 30s, but now he's at home as a huge favorite against the worst lineup in baseball against right-handed pitching, the highest strikeout rate in baseball against right-handed pitching. I assume you are going to like Pivetta despite, a bit of an elevated price tag for the matchup.
It is, it's a big price tag, the 9,100 here, but he rates out to be the top pitcher on the entire slate here for me, just barely, but he does rate out just ahead of DeGrom, who we didn't get to, but outside of in Coors, they're not all that impressive. Outside of Coors, this is just a AAA team, and they will strike out. So the second best projected K per inning numbers for Pivetta, I think his number in the market, his K number is 6.5, and that is heavily juiced to the over. So we're looking at he's over 7 projected in the betting markets for strikeouts, and 17.5 outs is also heavily juiced to the over. So they're obviously expecting a good game from Pivetta in the betting markets. Marquez not even worth really talking about. Now, what's interesting is he does get that 17.5 outs. Not everyone gets that 17.5 out prop. So Marquez is at least projected to get deeper in the game than most pitchers are, but he just does not strike anyone out. So I think you have to leave him off your off of your rosters, off the player pool, for this one for sure. But Pivetta, to me, he's going to be that. The other thing, he's going to be the highest owned pitcher on the slate. So the question is how heavy do you want to go? He's 40% owned on a 12 game slate. At least we're projecting 40% ownership. That makes me a little bit nervous.
Scares me a bit, right? Just with his inherent volatility, at this price tag. And it's only 400 more for DeGrom. I think I'm going to have more DeGrom than Pivetta when when the cards flip over. Sounds like you agree.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was kind of hinting at there as well. So that game, it just, to me, 40%. It's a great matchup. You can't deny the matchup. But I agree with you. I would kind of flip flop. I don't know off the top of my head where they've got DeGrom as far as what are the DeGrom ownership projection numbers.
Just had it up. I was refreshing because we just got the Mets lineup, which we'll talk about.
Oh, the Mets came out. Okay, that's a big one.
They've got Pivetta at 37, DeGrom 33. So close, but the two highest owned pitchers on the slate.
Yeah. So I would have that flipped. I have Pivetta, like I said, slightly ahead of DeGrom, but when we're playing the ownership game and kind of game theory stuff, I think I would bump DeGrom up. He would be my highest owned pitcher here on the 150 builds, with Pivetta coming in second. So I don't actually mind being a little under the market, even though he's my top pitcher on the slate. I just think 40% is a lot when you've got 12 games.
Yeah, I think the guy that I'll have 40 plus of is DeGrom here, which we'll get to. Let's talk about bats here. The Padres get to face Marquez and that just horrendous bullpen we saw at the entire series against the Brewers and Coors stats that the Rockies are just going to have games get away from them. Even their good bullpen arms aren't great, and their middle relief and blowout arms are atrocious. So gotta like the Padres here, despite not the best hitting weather in San Diego. The issue is Merrill's on the IL. They just put Cronenworth on the IL. Tatis got hurt on Wednesday. I don't know if he's going to be in the lineup. This could be a spot where don't give us the lineup before lock because they're waiting to see if Tatis is going to play. I've got him in there right now. If Tatis is in, I really like this stack. Just streaming offenses against Colorado. If Tatis is out, this is just going to be a mega cheap stack against the worst pitching staff in baseball, where you can play some Pivetta, DeGrom, double stud lineups. So, do you like the Padres bats at all here?
I like them a little bit, and I like them more with Tatis. I know what you're saying here, where we'll get a little bit more value, but I think I actually like them in the 2 and 3 man stacks a little bit more than I like their 5 man stacks today. So if Tatis is in with Machado, and you can mix in some of these other guys, but it's really like Machado, Tatis. I like as 2 man stacks. I don't love the 5 man stacks, even though it's Colorado. San Diego's not the great. You said weather. Did you mean like the ballpark, or did you mean?
Yeah.
Because weather is certainly not a problem there today.
Right. No, just
it's not the greatest ballpark. Weather's good. The wind's blowing out slightly. Nothing to get too excited about. But I like that. I like the options here. I like their home run threats to maybe as a one-off or on a short stack.
Yeah. Interesting thing with the Padres too, Machado's been running a lot early. He has 5 or 6 steals already. He had 10 or 11 all of last season. So that just ups, you just get more ceiling from Manny when he's got the dual threat. Jeff Matthews says Marquez owns San Diego. Yeah, we aren't using stats from 2014 on the show here. Different team, different pitcher, different situation. I do like Lockridge a bit too. Stats for San Diego, got some speed there for 2,400. So I agree. I think it's more of a 2 and 3 man stack. Really hoping that Tatis cracks the lineup, because you start Tatis, Machado, and then basically the rest of the lineup, the guys that you want, are all free. So I do like that there. Any last words on this game before we move on? We got 3 more games.
Yeah, I think that's it.
All right, let's go to Seattle. We'll be spending a lot of time on the pitchers here. DeGrom against Bryce Miller. Both guys, are not out to the hottest of starts this season. DeGrom got touched up a bit by Tampa. Bryce Miller has had 2 bad outings so far, but the pitch count is there for Bryce Miller. And DeGrom's underlying stuff looks just fine. Almost a 20% swing strike rate. Like, the Ks are going to come for him. I'm not worried about DeGrom. What do you think about the pitchers here?
Yeah, well, I kind of alluded to it earlier. I've got DeGrom just behind Pivetta, but I'm going to probably use him as my number 1. So he'll probably be my highest owned out of my 150 build. So he's got the best K potential, I think, on this slate. You look at the betting market; it's very similar to Pivetta in his K numbers, 6.5 strikeouts, heavily juiced to the over. We look at Miller; he is at 5.5 strikeouts, kind of even juiced there. So the nod goes to DeGrom. Where do I have Miller on my Miller? I've got decently as well. He's basically in the he's in that Nola world for me on my sheet, but 500 less than Nola. So I like that. Let's see if we could get the. I want to say we know what the DeGrom ownership is going to be, or at least what we're projecting it. But what was the Miller number? Because this is the lowest. I think this is the lowest game total we've got, and neither one of these teams projected really well offensively.
I'm seeing 10 to 15% on Miller. I'm definitely going to be over that.
I was going to say I think you want to get over that number, and we're probably not seeing much on the bats. I'm bringing it up now as far yeah. I mean, there's like no.
Literally none.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you have to do it because it's a 12-man, it's a 12-game slate. You could play a little Seattle.
I kept Corey Seager in the pool under 5K. Corey Seager sounds good to me.
Yeah, Seager, Garcia, I think those guys for sure are in play. If you want to get crazy with a stack that no one will have, I think you could legitimately play a Seattle stack just because they've got such big upside. I don't expect it to do well. Obviously, I like DeGrom. But I'm going to have a few in my 150 bills just in case. I'm going to have a few Seattle stacks in here.
I'll be playing both of these pitchers pretty heavily on this slate.
Oh, wait, but are we in Seattle? Oh, forget it. Take that all off. Take it all off. We're in Seattle. Yeah, I wanted to get cute and sneaky with it, but we're in Seattle, so I can't do that. Yeah, won't be happening. I take it away.
One note on Bryce Miller, his home road splits, like most of the Seattle guys, are pretty stark. So I do like playing him at home here. And yeah, I mean, this is a 6.5 total. I'll be playing a bunch of the arms on both sides here. Any last words on Texas, Seattle?
No. Yeah, I learned my lesson. I keep forgetting these damn Seattle games. You can't touch them.
All right. Well, we'll have to spend some time on this next game talking about the bats. We got the Mets in Sacramento facing the Athletics here. JP Sears up against old friend Griffin Canning for the Mets. Any interest in either of the arms here? I do not have interest in the arms here. And then just talk about this game overall.
No, I don't. I mean, it's Sears and Canning. Neither one of these guys are going to make the pool for me. So it's just all about the bats in this game. This should be. Let's see. Are they projected out? Mets like the highest owned.
Yes. Projected. Yeah, we got 70-ish degrees with double-digit wind blowing out to left center here.
Yeah, and this park has been pretty hitter friendly. So far, I didn't look at have you looked at any park park numbers at the what do you call the hitting
Sutter Health Park? Yeah, it's rates like just behind the Steinbrenner Field, Tampa. I think it's going to be pretty weather dependent. Like it gets hot in Sacramento in the summer. I think this is going to be a pretty weather dependent park, and we got great hitting weather tonight. I'm seeing Mets. I just pulled up the ownership. Mets have a 5.5 team total. I'm seeing their bats between 10 and 20% here. And the A's, I think, are also in a good spot against Canning. Everyone under 10% except for catcher Langoliers.
Yeah, the Mets side is, I think, clearly the better side on this game. All their bats are in play for them. Just about. I told you I put Vientos on my on the sheet today. He's at 4K, really projects well. We've got a lot of elite players from the Mets side: Lindor, Vientos, Alonso, Soto. Yeah. If Tyrone Taylor's in did the Met lineup? You just said the Met lineup came out, right?
We have the Mets lineup. It's Lindor, Soto, Alonso, Marte's hitting cleanup.
Okay.
Nimmo, Vientos hitting sixth. And then the bottom three are Acuna, Torrens is back after that injury, and Jose Siri's hitting ninth.
All right, so we have no Tyrone Taylor. So I will update after we get off of this. I will update all the sheets because this is a big one. We'll have most of the lineups by the time we're off here.
Yep.
But yeah, all right. So we're getting, you could play. You got Torrens. Siri is batting ninth, so we can mix in. I mean, Marte at 3,900 batting fourth is
huge.
Boy, yeah, that's going to be that's going to jack up the ownership of these stacks. I think.
Acuna is second and short eligible, which is nice at 2,900 too.
Yeah, so the Mets stacks are going to be owned justifiably, but I think the athletic side of this game is well worth a play also. Yep. So I like the stacks here. We're looking at Langoliers. Is it Langoliers?
Yes.
All right. There's no weird French pronunciation.
No, it's Langoliers.
All right. So, but he's always up at the top of the list for catchers for me. Just looking at Saber now, the ownership projection is obviously pretty good or pretty high, 15% or so. I think we could actually get over on a lot of these bats. So it looks like the top of the order guys, according to Saber, are going to get a little bit of ownership, like high single digits. And I think we might want to get over on the Athletics here in this one. I don't know if we want to go too crazy on the Met. We want exposure to the Mets. I don't know if we want to go that far over the market on such a big slate. So I think you'd want to, even if you're a little under the market on the Mets, I'd want to get over the market on the Athletics in this one.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to play A's bats here. A bit worried about the Mets pen, but man, Canning, it can go sideways for him. We've seen him have just meltdown starts where he walks 5 guys, gives up multiple bombs. I think we could see that here today. I actually don't mind a game stack. I think that these teams fit well together, and in this park, in that Tampa park, we're going to see games where it's like 11-8. So I could see that here tonight.
Because you do a lot of the I do mostly the 150 builds. When you're doing, a three max or a 20 max, do you ever intentionally do that where you're like, what, let me play the same, like I like both of these teams, but let me try to get them together because maybe if the hitting conditions just are conducive that day, we're going to get an onslaught of runs from both teams.
Yeah, so when I do my 20 max, I usually play 4 to 6 teams, and if they're in the same game, I'll make a rule where at least one of the 5-mans on each side include the 2 or 3-man with the other team in that game, for that exact reason. Because we do see games where that does happen. Yeah, I like the whole lineup on the Mets side, and then the A's side. We have the cheap middle infield, the young guys, Jacob Wilson and Max Muncy, I think are decent fill-ins for the infield there. So yeah, I mean, I'm all over this game as my favorite game on the slate. I don't think that's breaking any news to the audience here. Any last words on Mets A's here?
That's it. I'm going to have more for them at the end of the show. I've got.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. When we do
all right.
stuff.
We got one more game left. The Cubbies are out in LA. Yamamoto against Matt Boyd. Yamamoto, the highest priced pitcher on the slate at 9,700, but he has earned it. He's looked good through 3 starts stats. I think, and I put this in the playbook, the most encouraging thing, the last start, they gave him the 6th inning and they let him throw 97 pitches. With the Dodgers, we always have this concern about the duration for their arms. Really, really good to see him get stretched out to 6 innings and nearly 100 pitches. Just unlocks that 30-point upside, I think. What do you think about him here against a red-hot Cubs offense? And then I assume you're going to like some Dodgers bats here too.
Yeah, definitely going to like the Dodger bats. Yamamoto, I mean, I've got him graded out the 4th best, and that's with the salary. So yeah. I think the salary is holding him back a little bit here. I still like Pivetta and DeGrom better for the strikeouts. You look at his projected strikeouts in the betting markets, 5.5, minus 129 to the over. So not nearly as good as you're getting out of Pivetta and DeGrom, and you're paying up. And then typically when that happens, we're going to get him at a cheaper ownership. So let me just bring up where we've got Yamamoto, where they're at least
12-ish.
12-ish. Low. That's low. So again, I think you got to know why. Like, why are these guys low? Is it a bad matchup? I don't think it's a bad matchup. I just think it's when you've got DeGrom cheaper and you got Pivetta cheaper and really good matchups, it's going to take away ownership from Yamamoto. I think that's why you want to get over there on him. So I've got him as my 4th best pitcher on the slate. There is the upside there. Like you said, they're letting him pitch a bit. So I think the upside warrants him being higher owned than this, even if you wanted to get up to maybe a 20% ownership. And I think in these situations, pitching it's tough to predict. I mean, the whole thing is everything's always tough to predict. It's tough to get these winners in DFS, but you got to kind of, on a slate like this, is Yamamoto that big of a difference from, let's say, Pivetta? I know the matchup is fantastic against Colorado, but we're not going to be that surprised. Like, are we 4x more? Like, are we expecting 4x more out of? Like, does Pivetta win this slate for us 4 times as much as Yamamoto does? No, there's no chance.
I don't think so. And Yamamoto could post a 30 here. Like, he can post a score that you just need. So I'm with you. I'm going to be well over that 12% on Yamamoto. We've talked about a bunch of cheap bats on the slate, so I think it's going to be doable to get over on Yamamoto. Not, like you said, not the cleanest matchup. Cubs bottom 10 in strikeout rate, but that's why his prop is lower and that's why his ownership's lower. Mm-hmm. But talented arms like this can mow through any team if they're on. You want to talk about the Dodgers bats at all?
I mean, They are all in play. There isn't a bat I don't like on the Dodger side in this
Yeah.
game. So, I mean, they're all in play for me. We don't quite have the lineup yet. That probably won't be out for at least another hour. But, yeah, I
Freddie's
think
back
they're all
tonight.
going to be in play. We can kind of guess at what the lineup is, what is projected. But whatever cheap bats they have in there, Kiki,
Pages.
Pages,
Yeah.
whatever bats are in there that are cheap, you'll be able to fit them in with some of the more expensive, the Otanis and Betts type of guys. But I love every combination of Dodgers in this game.
Me too. They've got a healthy team total here. Boyd, we've seen when it goes bad for him, it's fly balls, it's home runs. Yeah, I like the Dodgers here. I stepped over you a bit. I'm pretty sure we get Freddie Freeman back tonight as well. So we get Freddie under 5K at home, left on left. I don't really care about the left on left with a guy like him. So yeah, I love the Dodgers here. I think they're playable. We get one less cheap bat in there with Freddie back, but we also get Freddie in the lineup. So love
and
that.
Freddie at 4,800 is not terrible at all.
Yep. I mean, he's probably not going to be under 5K for much longer. So really like the Dodgers bats here. We both want to be over on Yamamoto. And that is all 12 games. Wow, we did all 12 in under an hour.
Good pace.
Look at us. Happy Hour's calling me. A drive is calling you. Before
we're on a Ludwig Ober type of pace there. There was no sitting over the ball waiting forever.
Right, dude. He is fun to watch. He just walks up and lets it rip.
That's it, man. I'd love to say that's how I play. That is not how I play. Although I've gotten a lot better.
When I play better, it's when I'm not thinking about every single shot like that. You just go up and hit it. All right, before we get out of here, let's do some end of the show stuff. Let's talk about our most important pitchers, and then we'll do some fun stuff with the bats and stacks. So who do you think is your most important pitcher on this slate tonight?
I think Yamamoto is going to wind up being the most important. I think that's where the leverage will be for me here. So I think it's going to be Yamamoto.
Yeah, I think that is going to be my answer too, but I'll also throw in Reese Olson, 7K in good pitching weather. I'll give the non-subs a look into our cores. Reese Olson is in multiple cores on our site. Cheap arm with some strikeout upside. Let's go to stats. It's 12-game slate, a lot of teams in play here. Let's give your favorite stack and then off-the-board stack.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Mets are obviously that's the stack that I'm going to like the most today. But we'll go back to that the off the board one that, man, do I have to do it? I guess I have to do it. We're going to go with Atlanta again, man.
Yeah,
so I'm going to go with Atlanta because
Friday fireworks, man. The Braves are back.
The Braves are back. Last year I can't say how many times we actually liked Atlanta and on Friday nights, and they just did nothing for us. Well, what did you post in the Discord? The was it WAR, right? The WAR numbers?
Yeah, team WAR. They're like third worst in baseball.
My God. But yeah, I'm taking that. That's going to be my sneaky leverage bat play is Atlanta.
Maybe they just need the kick in the ass from the Friday fireworks show to get going. This is the time.
Yeah, it's beautiful weather tonight. We had a great day here today, and I went and hit some balls myself, and so the ball will be flying out of there in Steinbrenner Field.
Yeah, my favorite is obviously the bats in that A's Mets game, but the other ones that I like that we talked about stats, I like Boston a bit, and I really like the bats in that Arizona game too. So it'll be
I don't disagree at all with you on either one of those.
Yeah. All right. Let's do a home run call. I'll let you go first here.
I'm going back to the Met game, but I'm going to go to the other side, right? So the Mets are going to be winning. So we'll get full at bats. I'm going with Brent Rooker.
Oh, I thought you were going to take mine because mine's also an A. Let's start the game off with back-to-back bombs. Larry Butler and then Brent Rooker start us off out in Sacramento. So I'll go with Larry Butler here against Griffin Canning as my home run call. All right, we have said it all 12 games, got about an hour till lock. good luck on your drive down. Have fun with the boys this weekend. I'm sure we'll be chatting throughout the weekend. Big UFC card tomorrow.
Miami UFC, and then Rick Ross at 11 in Miami. So that's going to be
Ross at 11. Yeah, I was actually texting with Mark. I almost bought a plane ticket this morning to come join you guys.
We're going to be seeing. I mean, it's not often. I think outside of his wedding, it's not too many times I've seen Mark get dressed up. So he's going to have to get dressed to go to 11. So
I know, right? That'll be great. I'll have to see what his outfit is. But yeah, have fun, and we'll be chatting over the weekend. Everyone enjoy the UFC card tomorrow. Enjoy the Masters. Hopefully your guys made the cut, and you have some sweats over the weekend. All right, for Stats, I'm Steve. We'll see you next time.